Hi everybody! In this coffee study video, I will talk about the issues that I encountered while trying to apply recommended brew ratios to my DeLonghi. During my coffee home studies on different roasts and recipes, I found three approaches of constructing your espresso. The first is how I started using this machine with non-pressurized filters. By constructing your shot based on extraction time and taste, following the general consensus that a good shot should be extracted in around 25 seconds. The second and more complex way adds brew ratio as a main guideline, and here extraction time becomes a secondary factor. Almost all online sources talk about this, so you can easily dive into that for more details. The third approach is to stop pulling your shot as soon as the coffee starts blonding. This could enable you to time your shots visually and adjust for the effects of aging of the beans, for example. For my studies, I simply tried to replicate the common traditional recipes that are based on numbers, to see the extent in which the principles and measurements of professional espresso machines apply to a budget machine such as the DeLonghi ECP. With this, I hope to better understand the machine's limitations and gain more control over the outcome. That being said, the blonding approach might be best for those who value flavor above anything else. How much volume is an espresso? Because of whole lotta love talking about 1 ounce shots and the measures on my Joe Frex shot glass, I always had the idea that an espresso is 30 milliliters or roughly 30 grams per serving, and a smaller, more concentrated ristretto 20 to 22 milliliters. However, some sources call a double shot espresso of 40 milliliters an espresso just as well, without mentioning ristretto in the name. So, to be clear to you, for this video, I will go for a double 30 milliliter espresso shot, 60 milliliter in total. The full name with this quantity would be un doppio espresso normale. The main issue that I encountered while trying to apply a brew ratio to the DeLonghi is dosage. Brew ratio is the ratio of dry coffee in the basket, which is the input or dosage, to liquid coffee in your cup, which is the output or yield, measured in grams, a weight equal to volume in milliliters when measured for pure water. Recommended ratios generally were 1:1 to 1:2 for ristretto, 1:2 to 1:3 for normale, and 1:4 and higher for lungo. Extraction time recommendations were 35 seconds for light roast, 30 seconds for medium roast, and 25 seconds for dark roast. The recommended dosages were also roughly the same no matter the source: 14 to 16 grams for a dark roast double shot, 17 to 19 grams for a medium roast double shot, and 20 to 22 or even 24 grams for a light roast double shot. To give an example of how this all adds up, for a textbook light roast doppio espresso normale, I would theoretically need at minimum 20 grams of coffee and, per consequence, have a brew ratio of 1:3 to get the 60 milliliter normale yield, all extracted in around 35 seconds. Here I encountered the first problem. The Euro Piccola double shot basket that I use can only hold a maximum dose of 15 grams of coffee. This is nowhere near the recommended dose for a light roast double shot and would thus risk a loss of flavor. This brings me to the second problem. If I was to stick to a brew ratio of 1:2, I would end up with a single espresso volume-wise, just 30 grams of drink, roughly 30 milliliters. If I tried to make a 60 milliliter double shot, but with the same dosage of 15 grams instead, I would automatically end up with a brew ratio of 1:4 and get more of a lungo concentration and taste, be it in a normale volume, all according to the compound theory, that is. Confused yet? So was I. Very long story short, after initially making a conversion scale for dosage, I instead decided to forfeit the recommended brewing ratio altogether and go with extraction time and flavor as the only values to judge, and use dose and extraction time as the manipulable variables to get there. It simply is a consequence of the DeLonghi's smaller 51mm basket, be it factory or third party, because the volume of the baskets are roughly the same. If you absolutely want to go with brew ratio, the 51mm baskets limit your choice to either a lower brew ratio in ristretto volume double shot or more diluted higher brew ratios in higher volumes. A classic doppio espresso normale is per definition out of the question. Luckily, a nice homemade espresso is still possible, as you can fine-tune flavor by grind and taste. If you'd like to read the full journey on finding my DeLonghi recipes, click on the linked document in the description. In my next video, I will demonstrate my recipe for a DeLonghi light roast double shot espresso. See you there.